Paper is there? Yesterday's paper? Before me, whose class was here? Paper discussion has not taken place. Okay. Good morning, children. Very good morning, everyone. Good morning. Very good morning. Voice not coming? On. Good morning, children. Good morning. I think some problem.
No, chart and
Okay. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Now he has enabled. Good morning, beta. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And thank you so very much for remembering. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, children. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you so much, everyone who is wishing Happy Teachers' Day, and so much blessings and love to all of you for remembering. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. So many, very good. Online students are more loving than the offline one. The offline people they are busy with their own problems, it seems. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much. Bless you. This gives a responsibility to all teachers that the purpose for which students are here, our purpose is not just to teach you and over. The purpose is to make you get your goals, to send you inside the gates of medical college. If that is successful, then our purpose is solved. If not, then of course it is a joint failure. I never say it is a failure of a student only. No, it's a joint failure. Okay, we cannot say that okay, those 10 they got the ranks, and therefore my student got AIR 1. No, not like that. If you have something, then what about each and every student? At least they get their goal. Some people came for rank, some people came for selection, right? So at least they should achieve their goals. Anyway, so let me help achieve your goals. And for achieving your goals, we are doing a chapter called Structural Organization in Animals in first year biology, NCERT book first, volume 1. And this chapter has two parts, animal tissues and the structures and morphology of animals like cockroach, earthworm, frog. But then this chapter may look like a bulk. Only 2 or at max 3 questions are expected. So you can very well understand that very detail or detail which are not in the NCERT cannot be given. If any detail which is not in the NCERT will not be given in the examination, because such a big chapter and we have only 2 to 3 questions to do. Now, before starting, let me tell you, or let me ask that in the fetal life, when we were embryo, our skeleton, right now we have bones, bones and cartilage both. But when we were in the fetal stage, then this entire skeleton is made up of hyaline cartilage. Hyaline is a bluish type of cartilage, bluish green type of cartilage called hyaline cartilage. Good. Also, I have in the previous class, we have seen the classification of the connective tissue as connective tissue proper and specialized connective tissue. Connective tissue proper can be dense and loose, and specialized connective tissue can be skeletal connective tissue or vascular connective tissue, fluid or fluid connective tissue. Skeletal means bones and cartilage. These are also skeletal connective tissue, and fluid connective tissue means what? Means blood and lymph. Coming to the proper means dense and loose. The loose connective tissue examples are, number one is you have that areolar, and number two is adipose. In the loose, areolar and adipose. In the dense, we can classify the dense as dense regular and dense irregular. Okay? Dense regular can be found in cords called ligaments and tendons. And dense irregular is mostly found in the skin. It's mostly found in the skin. Well, a question has come, which of the following is found in the dermis of the skin? The skin is mainly made up of three parts. So we have got epidermis and dermis. In some places, we may have hypodermis. Yes, you are right. Perfect. Okay. So, in that question, there can be two answers as told to me by one student, and she told me that why can't it is areolar? So both can be the answers. Well, in the skin, areolar. So areolar is connecting the skin to the muscles. That is fine. So when we say connecting the skin to the muscles, okay, skin to the muscles, in that case, we can say areolar, and we will say areolar, fine. But as such, in the dermis part, it is mainly made up of the dense irregular. And let me tell you that areolar part is having its dense. And what makes it, what makes it resistant to tearing? The dense irregular connective tissue, right? So now the question is whether to give both the options as answer or only the, the dense irregular. But then here we have to follow the textbook. We are not sure whether in the examination they will accept the areolar or not. The dense irregular and dense regular, these are mentioned and clearly mentioned about the skin. Okay. I just changed the question as epidermis and dermis. Now, epidermis is just the epithelium part, epithelium, and dermis is below the epithelium, the connective tissue, right? So, in that case, in that question, I did not find any loophole, and therefore, so far, okay, so far, I have not. Today, I will finalize that whether we will give two answers or we will only give you dense irregular. But textbook has given dense irregular, okay? I hope this is clear to everyone, okay? Clear to everyone? Okay. In case there is another question which says about the cuboidal. What are the functions of cuboidal? But unless mentioned ciliated, we will not assume that it also possesses cilia and it can have other functions. Because unless mentioned ciliated, if written ciliated cuboidal, then you may think of that. Okay, so I think that is clearly of this one. I will once again look at this secretion. Yes, Priyanka, you're right. Secretion and absorption. These are the functions of the cuboidal or any simple epithelium per se. Yes, simple squamous will not have function like secretion. Secretion is possible in case of cuboidal and in some columnar also. Okay, dear children, we have just now revised this. I think I have told you this diagram also. That day we have also done this diagram, all the parts of this. Okay, please understand that the fibers, so just remember two type of fibers. One is a bundle, and this bundle is collagen, and one is elastin. Elastin is yellow colored fiber and collagen is white color. They may be blue color here, but actually they are the white fibers. They are for tensile strength, and elastin fibers, they are for giving flexibility and elasticity. This is a macrophage which is for engulfing, and this is a mast cell which help in secretion of serotonin, serotonin, heparin, histamine. Understood? Okay. Any other question you have the doubt? I have discussed these two questions from myself only, but any other doubt you have in the previous paper, so I am responsible for that. If any correction to be done, I am the one who has to do that. Okay, so if your doubts are there, you can discuss with me. No doubts. Okay, reptiles respiration, sir. Reptiles respiration. Better reptiles, birds, okay, they are mammals, they have lungs. Reptiles, birds, mammals have lungs. Reptiles, birds, mammals have lungs. Means what? Means amniotes, all the amniotes, their breathing is by lungs. Okay? What options are given? For example, malpighian. No, tracheal system. Tracheal system is only in insecta. Then gills. Now, just imagine, gills are in the aquatic structure, aquatic form. Right. And these are the true land vertebrates. True land vertebrates, obviously. Right. Okay. Done. Lungs. In all the three, lungs is the answer. Any other question in the previous test? Yes. Amphibia, reptilia, aves, and mammalia. These questions have also come. Two names of the lizard. One is the poisonous lizard, Gila monster. It is Heloderma. Gila monster, poisonous lizard, Heloderma. Gila monster, also called poisonous lizard. Okay. Any other lizard name came? Any other lizard name? Garden lizard, it is Calotis. Tree lizard is the color changing. I told you, just imagine a tree changing color. Tree is blinking different colors, okay? So tree lizard is the color changing lizard, also called chameleon, okay? Calotis, chameleon. Any other in the options? If you have any doubt, you can please discuss with me. On the last turn, we have seen up to the dense and regular, dense and loose connective tissues. We have completed the dense and the loose connective tissues. I have also shown you the two type of connective tissues. As you can see, this one, the two type of this is a dense connective tissue. This also. There is a packed. The fibers are very packed, and parallel bundles can be seen. Parallel bundles. This is dense, regular. Here there is no pattern. They are scattered. Nothing parallel. Parallel absent. These are the dense, irregular. This is found in the skin, and this is found in the tendons and ligaments. I have also done this correction, guys. In the dense, regular connective tissue, the fibroblasts are present in rows between many parallel bundle of fibers. Now, when we say in the dense, regular connective tissue, the collagen fibers are present in rows between many parallel bundles, because parallel bundles are of collagen fibers only. Bundle is of collagen fibers. So in that way, collagen in collagen is what, right? That's the reason when I write fibroblast, it is making sense. Tendons and ligament which attach skeletal muscle to bone and ligament which attach one bone to another bone are examples of this tissue. Dense irregular connective tissue has fibroblast and many fibers, mostly collagen, that are oriented differently. You can see this one. They are mostly collagen in dense irregular, mostly collagen that are oriented differently. This tissue is present in the skin, not below the skin, in the skin. Cartilage, bones and blood are various types of specialized connective tissues. Okay, the intercellular material of cartilage is solid and pliable and resist compression. Please note down that the intercellular material, of cartilage, the intercellular material of cartilage is solid and pliable. Pliable means flexible, solid and pliable and resist compression. What is this intercellular material? This intercellular material is actually a mucopolysaccharide. It is a modified polysaccharide or mucopolysaccharide. It's a modified polysaccharide or mucopolysaccharide. This is chondroitin 6-sulfate, chondroitin 6-sulfate, mucopolysaccharide, example, chondroitin 6-sulfate, example. This help in making it pliable, means flexible, solid, and resist compression. Important point. Cells of this tissue or chondrocytes are enclosed in small cavities within the matrix secreted by them. Now also remember that I told you in connective tissue, the matrix is secreted by the cells. Okay, cells are, we call them chondrocytes. Chondrocytes are present in the matrix. Okay, in the matrix, some empty spaces are there. We have a term for empty spaces. And what these empty spaces are called? We have a term for these cavities. These are fluid-filled cavities, usually filled by a fluid. We have any term for them? Any idea what these cavities are called? Yes, your answer is correct. These are called lacunae. This is one lacuna, many lacunae. This is one lacuna, similarly many lacunae. Dear children, please note down that the cells are present inside the lacuna. Here you can see these are the lacuna. Now, you also notice one more thing, that in one lacuna, maybe more than one cells are there. Okay, in one lacuna, more than one cells are there. It is just like a shared hostel arrangement. Okay, it's a hostel arrangement where in one room 2 students, 3 students, 4 or at times 8 students. In the same way, we have got these. In these also we have 2, we have 4, or at times we have 8 cells or chondrocytes in one lacuna. Now this point which makes differences in case of bones and cartilage. In cartilage, there are more than one cells or chondrocytes in one lacuna. Then you will find that the main protein collagen fibers are there, and collagen fibers are all tied together by a glue-like substance called mucopolysaccharide, namely chondroitin 6-sulfate. And that labeling is there, cartilage cell. So I think no more than that, just the intercellular material, which is mucopolysaccharide. At times you can learn I don't think so. They will ask the example also But if they ask, or at least if they don't ask, it is given in one of the options as chondroitin sulfate, you can easily now understand that it is an example of a mucopolysaccharide. Dear children, bone. Bones have a hard and non-pliable ground substance rich in calcium salt and collagen fibers, which give bone its strength. Collagen fibers and the matrix contain calcium salt. Can you please tell me which salt of calcium is more often found in the bones? Option number 1, calcium carbonate. Option number 2, calcium oxalate. Option number one, calcium carbonate. Option number two, calcium oxalate. And yes, it is oxalate. Carbonate is not even 10%. Answer is calcium oxalates. Calcium oxalates, these salts are present, and calcium phosphate also. Calcium phosphate also, but not calcium carbonate, bacha. Calcium phosphate, calcium oxalate, calcium phosphate. In terms of the most abundant, you can note down calcium phosphate. So which calcium salt? You will write, sir, calcium phosphate is there, calcium oxalate is there. Then I ask you, sir, what about calcium carbonate? You will say, sir, that is not abundant. That is very, very less in a bone. Calcium salt, mainly calcium phosphate, Ca, calcium phosphate. I have not balanced it, just telling you calcium phosphate. It is the main tissue that provides structural frame to the body. Bone support and protect softer organs and tissues. The bone cells are osteocytes, are present in the spaces called lacunae. The same name lacunae is used here also. Limb bones, such as the long bones of the legs, serve weight-bearing functions. They also interact with the skeletal muscle attached to them to bring about movements. Skeletal muscles and the limb bones, they work together, and at the joints, there is a lever action by the muscles. A lever action by the muscles at the joints causing the movements. The bone marrow in some bones is the site of production of blood cells. This bone marrow is the red bone marrow, RBM, red bone marrow. My question is, in the ends of the long bones, we have got this red bone marrow. Tell me which cell is going to be formed there. Number 1, hepatocytes. Number 2, leukocytes. Number 3, thrombocytes. Number 4, leukocytes, thrombocytes, erythrocytes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1, hepatocytes. Number 2, leukocyte. Number 3, thrombocyte. And number 4, leuko, thrombo, and erythrocytes. Come on. Correct answer is? Na. I don't know why people are writing this. Surya gave the correct answer. Yes, Surya, your answer is correct. Anyone else who want to say the correct answer? And Jayanti, sorry, beta, answer is not correct. Okay, if it is thrombocyte, then where is the leukocytes formed? Where are the erythrocytes formed? In our body, do you know any site where these are formed? No. The blood cell formation site is only the bone marrow. So all the blood cells, I am saying, all the red bone marrow, you have got everything, WBC, RBCs, and the platelets, please. And the platelets, all three of them are formed in the red bone marrow. I know that by this red color, you may get confused to red. No, we have only one blood cell forming tissue in the body, and that left is only in the bones. Otherwise, in our embryo, there was many, but right now we don't have. Dear children, that's all about the bones that we need to know. And these are the mammalian bones, a beautiful arrangement in case of a mammalian bone. This is a mammalian bone. And let me just explain the mammalian bone to you a little bit, not that detail, but at least I will give you understanding of this diagram. what this diagram is saying, every one of you, you can use a rough page to revise, or else you can just see and understand. Okay, so a bone, if you cut the bone, particularly the shaft of the bone where we have the solid bone, okay, we have the compact bone. So in the compact bone, just let me show you, this is the outer wall and this is the inner wall, outer wall, inner wall. Okay, and then outer side, this is and inner side, and so let me name these. This is called periosteum, periosteum, and this is called endosteum, endosteum. Periosteum, this is mainly made up of white fibrous connective tissue. It is mainly made up of white fibrous WFCT. And inside we have the endosteum. And this is the bone marrow. This is the bone marrow. Bone marrow. Bone marrow. Or bone marrow cavity. Bone marrow cavity. Because we have cut it from the shaft region, shaft, shaft, the ends, epiphysis, metaphysis, and then we have the diaphysis. Epiphysis, metaphysis, and diaphysis. Malli. So we have the ends, epiphysis, then a small metaphysis, and this is diaphysis. Again, we have got metaphysis, metaphysis, and epiphysis. This is the shaft region. This is the shaft. In the shaft, I have cut. And therefore, I find the bone marrow to be filled with fats. Fats is there in the shaft region of the bone marrow. This is the yellow bone marrow. And because of the fat, it is called the yellow bone marrow. Yellow bone marrow. And yellow bone marrow is containing fats, mainly fats. And if it is a mammalian bone, then what we notice here are some special canals. Long, these are longitudinal canals. How they are? They are longitudinal canals. Canals containing blood vessels and nerves. What these canals contain? Blood vessels and nerves. What this diagram is? This diagram is periosteum. This is endosteum. And then we have the bone marrow. And this is the yellow bone marrow. And the yellow bone marrow contains the fats. And therefore the yellow bone marrow. What is the bone cell, guys? Bone cell. Can anyone tell me the bone cell? Come on, name of the bone cell. Leukocyte, no beta. Bone cell, osteocyte, good. Osteocytes now. Bone cell, so bone cell, osteocyte represents the cell. And every connective tissue has got cell and what else? Two parts. Every connective tissue is made up of two parts. One is cell and another one, which the cell secrete. Come on. Once again, every connective tissue is made up of two parts. Cells and dash. Matrix, good. It is matrix. And matrix is secreted by the cells only. The cells only secrete the matrix. So far you are done. Very good. Now, matrix. This is a mammalian bone particularly. because this structure cannot be in the any other bone. And these canals are longitudinal canals containing blood vessels and nerves. The matrix is laid in layers. Ante what? Ante a layer, multi-layer, layers, these layers. You know what these layers are called? Layers are called lamellae. Layer means lamellae. So layers are formed. Around the canal, layers of matrix. Layers of matrix. Around the canal, layer of matrix. Everywhere you have got those layers totally filled, containing collagen. Okay, so these layers, what we call them? We can call them as lamellae. These are called lamellae. Lamellae. Layers of matrix. And these canals are especially found in the mammalian canal, and these canals can be called, any idea what we can call these canals? Longitudinal. Remember, these are longitudinal. This is a transverse section. It is a transverse section at the shaft. Transverse section at the shaft of a mammalian bone, of a mammalian compact bone, of a mammalian compact bone. Just remember this. It's a shaft of a mammalian compact bone. Transverse section. So these are called, yes, let me see your answer, and all are saying correctly. Yes, these are called Heversian canals. These are called Heversian canals. Heversian canals. What do they contain? They contain blood vessels and nerves. Contain blood vessels and nerves. And what they are? Longitudinal. They are longitudinal. They are longitudinal. Dear children, after knowing this, where are the cells here? So far, the arrangement of cell is not shown. Cells are found in empty spaces called lacunae. Cells are found in empty spaces called lacunae, and these lacunae can be seen. Lacunae can be seen in between the lamellae. So in between the lamellae, for example, at the junction of the two lamellae here, at the junction of two lamellae, these are called lacunae. One lacuna, many lacunae. After that, the story will be in different page, because I have to highlight that and I will show you. So what I can do now, I can take a small piece of it and I will show you. So I have taken a small piece like this. And now we are trying to show you what is the lamella like and what is a lacuna like. I'm sorry, lacuna like, and where are the osteocytes? We know that osteocytes are inside the lacunae. So let me just take a small portion and I'll show you. I hope so far all points are clear. Let us take a pradakshina. This is a transverse section at the shaft region of a mammalian long bone. This is a long bone. You can see this epiphysis. This complete is a diaphysis, and this small part is metaphysis. Epimetadiia. Dia is the middle part. Epi ends. In between the middle and the ends is small region called metaphysis. Now this is the region which help in increasing the length of the bone. This is the region helping increasing the length of the bone. As we grow, this help in increasing the length of the bone. So far you are with me? Okay. So after that, beta, this is the outer one layer is called periosteum. which is made up of white fibrous connective tissue, periosteum, and this is endosteum. Endosteum. Inside, this is the marrow cavity. This is the marrow cavity. Marrow cavity. And the marrow cavity at the shaft region, it contains the yellow bone marrow. And yellow bone marrow is yellow because of the fats. Yellow bone marrow contains the adipose tissue, fats, and therefore it appears yellow. Now, there are longitudinal canals called Heversian canals. What's the name? Heversian. Heversian canals are only characteristic of mammalian bone. Beta, Heversian canals are not found in any other bone. They are only present in the mammalian bone. Mammalian bone. So if a question comes, Heversian canals are present in rabbit, frog, or both? Haversian canals are present in rabbit, frog, or both. Correct answer is Haversian canals are present in rabbit only, not in the frog, only present in the rabbit because rabbit is a mammal. Dear children, then around these canal, and what you have in the canal? Blood vessels and nerves. Around these canals is the matrix. This is the lamellae made up of matrix. So matrix is laid in layers called lamellae. So for you are with me? Okay. So we have understood this diagram. Now I am showing you, and in between, so one lamella here, one lamella junction, one lamella one here, one lamella here. So in between the two lamellae is a layer, and in that layer we have got is a region. In that region we have empty spaces called lacunae. And the difference with the cartilage lacunae is that in bone the lacunae are interconnected. Dear children, in bones the lacunae are interconnected. They are interconnected. Please note down, they are interconnected. In bones, the lacunae are interconnected. And here is one lacuna. One lacuna contains one osteocyte. One lacuna contains one osteocyte. Point number one. Point number two. One lacuna contains one osteocyte. Okay, so this is 1-to-1. And I'll now show you an osteocyte. An osteocyte is made up of a cell with protoplasmic projections. It is made up of cells with protoplasmic projections. It's made up of cells with protoplasmic projections. As you can see this one. So many arms, you can see a cell with so many arms all around. And this is found inside the, it is found inside? Yes, it is found inside the space, and the space called lacuna. This is one lacuna, and 1-to-1. One lacuna, one osteocyte. This is one osteocyte only. But osteocyte has got these legs, these arms. Therefore, the lacuna also has these projections. The lacuna also has these projections. Lacuna also has these projections. These are small canal-like projections, which are canal-like, canal. You know what we can call them? Because they are tiny canal-like, these projections in the lacunae. And don't forget that lacunae, this is one lacuna. Lacuna is a fluid-filled space. It is a fluid-filled space. It is not a empty space or any vacuum. And these tiny projections of the lacuna, what we can call them? What these extensions of the lacuna called? Lacuna. Of the cell, I said these are the protoplasmic projections. But of the lacuna, these small canals, you know what we can call them? We can call them canaliculi. We can call them canaliculi. Canaliculi. Canaliculi is a plural term. Also remember that the canaliculi of adjacent, for example, one more adjacent lacuna is here, and its canaliculi are continuous. Its canaliculi are continuous with the canaliculi of our one. You understand this? Its canaliculi are continuous, and what is there inside the canaliculi are the protoplasmic projections. So this is the lacuna, and this is a protoplasmic projection, and beta you can see that they are almost touching each other. Because of this, because of the connection of these lacunae, through the interconnecting canaliculi, there is a communication between the two cells. Okay, so there is communication occurs between the two osteocytes. Communication occurs. These are called canaliculi, and these are the lacunae. One lacuna here, I have labeled already lacuna, and connection of lacuna through their canaliculi. Connection of lacunae. So all these canaliculi are interconnected. So here we have the canaliculi. The canaliculi are interconnected, beta. They are interconnected. Also note down an important point here is that these cells are communicating with each other. So osteocytes communicate. They communicate with each other. Osteocyte communicate with each other. What else? Very important point, that the bone, beta please note down that bone is vascular tissue. Remember, bone is vascular. That means the blood vessels are present in the bones. Bone is vascular. Which animal tissue is avascular? Who will tell me? Bone is vascular. My question is, which animal tissue is avascular? Yes, epithelial tissue. Good. Now can you please tell me, when I'm emphasizing this point, that means there is some comparison here. My question to you is, among bones and cartilage, in these two, which one is option number 1, bone is vascular. Number 2, cartilage is vascular. Number 3, both are vascular. And number 4, only cartilage is avascular. Bone is vascular. Come on. Both are vascular, both are avascular, or cartilage is vascular and bone is avascular. However, I have just given the answer. So bone is vascular, then cartilage may be avascular. What is the answer? Last option says bone is vascular, cartilage is avascular. Very good, your answer is correct. Please note down, it's an important note, please note down that cartilage in humans, cartilages are avascular. Okay, I hope the difference you understand, and this special pattern is called the Heversian system. So Heversian system is a characteristic of, this is called Heversian system. Now what is the system here as such? I'll tell you. I have to turn the page to explain you something more. Now, if you see a bone, let us say this is a bone, you are seeing a bone. In a bone, you will find some nutrient foramen. So you can see these holes are there in the bones. And through these holes, you'll find the blood vessels are entering into the bone. The blood vessels are entering into the bone through these nutrient foramina. And this is one thing, blood vessels are entering into these. Also, the nerves are there. Sensory neurons are here. So sensory neurons can also be found here. Sensory neurons can be found here. One more thing, beta. Suppose if I show the Heversian canal, longitudinal canal, Heversian canal, one canal, another canal. The Heversian canals of adjacent lamellae or adjacent Heversian canals can interconnect. Adjacent Heversian canals can interconnect with the help of adjacent Haversian canals can interconnect with the help of transverse canals. With the help of transverse canals. These transverse canals can be called Folkman's canal. These transfer canal can be called Folkman's. These are called Folkman's. Folkmans. We speak them as folkmans. Speak as folkmans. Write as walkmans, write them as walkmans, but speak them as folkmans. In German, the V is not pronounced as V. The V becomes fa sound, fa. The Germans pronounce the V as fa, like Volkswagen, Volkswagen, Falkmans, Falkmans Canal, Volkswagen, Volkswagen. Am I clear? So the longitudinal one are Haversian, transverse of them, Falkmans. And what do you find inside Falkmans? Same thing, blood vessels and nerves. Same thing is found in between them also, and the answer is blood vessels and nerves. Dear children, I explained you this diagram, the diagram of the Heversion system. Little bit complicated as you can see that one. However, now you can understand what you have seen there. This is a transverse section of the shaft of a long bone. We can see the yellow bone marrow or the fats inside, but the blood cells formation occurs in the red bone marrow. But not every bone has the red bone marrow. Some bones have the red bone marrow. Okay. Then the lacunae. Lacunae in the bone contains only one cell. So 1 to 1, one lacuna, one cell. One lacuna, one cell. In the cartilage, one lacuna, 1, 2, 3. I said just like hostel system. One lacuna, more than one cell. And the cell of cartilage called chondrocyte. The mature bone cell called osteocyte. Mature bone cell called osteocyte, and the mature cartilage cell called chondrocyte. Chondrocyte. And my question is, what makes the cartilage, what makes a cartilage pliable, pliable, and help the cartilage to resist compression, help the cartilage to resist compression. Come on. Yes, you're right. Chondroitin sulfate. Now you know that cartilage is chondro. Now you understand that the intercellular material, intercellular material, Peru, what is that? Mucopolysaccharides. Mucopolysaccharides. Which one? Which one? Answer is chondroitin. Chondroitin 6 sulfate. Chondroitin 6 sulfate. It's a muco. Muco means chipchipa. It's, slimy, muco, chipchipa. It keeps the collagen and these, the bundles and the entire tissue bind as one. Remember that the entire fetal skeleton is made up of cartilage, Okay, entire fetal one is made up of cartilage. Please understand that the chondrichthyes, chondrichthyes, chondrichthyes and cyclostomes, chondrichthyes and cyclostomes, they have a complete cartilaginous endoskeleton. They have a complete cartilaginous endoskeleton, complete cartilaginous endoskeleton. You tell me, please, which vertebrate has a fully ossified endoskeleton? Which vertebrate has, yes, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, good. So many people are answering fully ossified, completely cartilaginous in case of chondrichthyes and cyclostomes. And fully ossified, if they ask you about fully ossified, as all of you have answered correctly, and here the answer is birds, aves. In the aves, okay. Next question. In the birds, in the bones, bones of the birds, bones of the birds, bones of the birds have number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bone marrow, but not air spaces. Air spaces, but not bone marrow, okay. Option number 3, bone marrow and the respiratory air sacs, bone marrow and the respiratory air sacs, okay, and the bone marrow and what, and the air spaces to keep the bones, to keep them lighter, okay. Come on, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bones of birds, bones of the birds have bone marrow but no air spaces, but not bone marrow and the respiratory air sacs, and bone marrow and air spaces to keep them lighter. Actually, third option says bone marrow and the respiratory air sac. Beta, air sacs are not the respiratory one. The respiratory one are different one. So the respiratory one are the different one. They are the different one. So correct answer is fourth. The correct answer is fourth, because yes, they have bone marrow and they have got the air cavities, but that are not linked with the respiration. Remember that the linked with respiration, these can contract and relax. Beta, they can contract and relax. They can create the pressure difference. How? If it is present inside the bone, it can expand, it can contract. How it can expand? It can contract. So respiratory air cavities are present in some other place, right? Not in the bone marrow. In the bone marrow, they have in the bone they have got bone marrow, as well as they have got the other spaces. And these bone marrows here, they help in blood cell formation. Okay, so blood cell formation is called hemopoiesis. Blood cell formation is called hemopoiesis. Blood cell formation called hemopoiesis. Dear children, hope I explained this sufficiently as we are supposed to know, and that's about the bones. And let's come to the blood. Blood is a fluid connective tissue containing plasma and the cells. The cells are called formed elements. Formed elements most abundant RBC, then WBC and platelets. They are called formed elements. Other component is blood. Blood is the main circulating fluid that helps in the transport of various substances. Muscle tissue. Each muscle is made up of many long cylindrical fibers arranged in parallel array. Array means pattern, pattern, parallel fashion, parallel pattern. Each muscle is made up of many long cylindrical fibers arranged in parallel arrays. These fibers, array is a sort of a line, These fibers are composed of numerous fine fibrils called myofibrils. So each fiber has myofibrils. Muscle fibers contract in response to stimulation, then relax and return to their uncontracted state in a coordinated fashion. Their action moves the body to adjust to the changes in the environment and to maintain the positions of the various parts of the body. In general, muscles play an active role in all the movements of the body. Muscles are of three types: skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscles. So in case of the skeletal muscles, one point about the skeletal muscle is that the skeletal muscle, the whole structure of a muscle is called the muscle belly, and this is surrounded by a connective tissue called fascia. It is a white fibrous connective tissue, called fascia. At the end, you will have the tendons attaching the bone to a muscle, or these muscles to a bone, tendons are there. The same white fibrous connective tissue can be found outside, as I have just now shown, found outside. Okay, so let me show it here. This is called fascia. If you see inside, it has got so many fascicles. Inside the bone, there are many fascicles. Fascicles are the bundle of muscle cells. So inside, you will find many fascicles. Fascicles are like bundles of muscle cells. Each of them I am showing, these are the fascicles. Outside is fascia and inside are the fascicles. Outside is fascia. This is fascia. And inside you have got fascicles. Fascicles are the bundle of muscle cells. Dear children, each fascicle, inside each fascicle, muscle fibers are there. Inside each fascicle, muscle fibers are there. So let me just show you. This is better to show you the diagram of the book or the net rather than making it. It may take time, and better diagrams are available on the net. Okay, so we'll do the muscle ultrastructure. And here we go. Okay, so we are here, this one. Beautiful. Now this is a better picture to understand. I hope everyone is seeing that. So this is the muscle belly, as you can see here. The whole muscle we have taken out. As if we have cut the body and we have taken out a muscle of the body. This is that muscle. And it is surrounded by fascia. You have fascia here, fascia. Inside, you will find that these are fascicles. All these are F. I am writing F means fascicles. Each fascicle, if you take out a fascicle, it has got many fibers. So these are the fibers, fiber 1, fiber. All these are fibers, muscle fiber. One muscle fiber analyzed deeply. Inside one muscle fiber, many fibrils are there. These are called myofibrils, fibrils. Myofibrils. This is one myofibril. This is one myofibril. One myofibril. One myofibril is made up of filaments. Myofibril made up of filaments. These are the thick filaments. Thick filaments. These are thin filaments. So fiber, muscle low fascicle, fascicle low fibers, fibers low fibrils, fibrils low filaments, thick filament, thin filament. This is the structure of a muscle. Once again, muscle low, muscle has fascia, and muscle low, it's made up of fascicles. Fascicle is a bunch of fibers, okay? Fiber has got myofibrils, and myofibril has so many myofilaments. We have got thin filaments and thick filaments. Thin filaments are made up of a protein called actin, and the thick filaments are made up of a protein called myosin. The thin filaments are not only made up of actin. Along with actin, two more regulatory proteins are there. One is troponin, one is tropomyosin. Okay? So I hope muscle, fascia, fascicles. After that, after fascicle, fiber. Fiber means cell. Muscle fiber means muscle cell. And after muscle cell, inside this cell, so this is a sarcoplasmic sarcolemma, the sarcoplasmic membrane, and then inside you have got many of them, these cylinders here called myofibrils, and these myofibrils are surrounded by the green color, and the green color is sarcoplasmic reticulum, the storehouse of calcium ions. Now each one is made up of thick filaments and thin filaments. Thick filaments and thin filaments with a structure repeated at regular interval, and that structure is called sarcomere. You can also see here that we have taken out the filaments. In this picture, we have taken out a thick filament. The blue one is a thick filament. And around that, these are the thin filaments. We know that one thick filament is surrounded by 6 thin filaments. One thick surrounded by 6 thin. And one thick surrounded by 3 thin. One thin surrounded by 3 thick. One thick by 6 thin. One thick by 6 thin. And one thin by 3 thick. So a sheath of tough connective tissue encloses several bundles of muscle fibers. You will learn more about this in chapter 20. I thought that more is given here, but now you can see here. Now these are the muscle fibers, okay, and inside that fibrils are there, and inside the fibrils we have got the filaments. Thick and thin filament. This is one pattern. This you can see here. One pattern like a disc. One disc, another disc, another disc, another disc, 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 disc. This one disc is called sarcomere. The word sarco stands for flesh and mere means unit. That means it is a unit of a flesh, unit of a muscle. We call it sarco means muscle. And mere means unit, mere means units. Dear children, I'm giving a first halt here. I know that some student might have doubt here. You can ask your doubts and then we'll proceed. You can ask your doubts, then we'll proceed. In the first picture, you can notice that this is made up of there are many nuclei here. You can make out that it is made up of multiple nuclei. One cell is made up of many nuclei. Animal cells made up of many nuclei are called syncytial. Syncytial. Dear children, no one will, could you please give a small flow chart for us to remember easily? Very good, I'll give you. For which one? For which one, bacha? Layers. Layers in a muscle? Okay, I'll give you. Once again, can you write down? A muscle surrounded by a tough, no, don't forget about the muscle. Try to answer this question. A muscle is surrounded by a tough sheet. This sheet is called, come on, fascia. Good, fascia. And the fascia is surrounded by many bundles of muscle cell. What these bundles are called? Fascia. Inside fascia, what you can notice? Fascicles. How will you define fascicle? Sir, we will define fascicle. Sir, fascicle is a bundle of muscle fiber. I'll ask you, what do you mean by muscle fiber? Sir, muscle fiber means a muscle cell. Because the cells are elongated, we can call them fibers. Very good. Okay, so sir, a muscle cell is actually like it is bounded by cell membrane. The muscle cell is we use a term prefix as sarco for denoting anything of the cell. For example, the cell membrane can be called sarcolemma. It has got plenty of smooth endoplasmic reticulum. You can call them sarcoplasmic reticulum. And inside the sarcolemma, I'll ask you, what do you find inside the sarcolemma of a skeletal muscle? So first of all, we notice that there are many nuclei. It's a multinucleate condition. I'll ask you any term for the multinucleate condition in animal cell? Yes, sir, it is syncytial. It is called syncytial. Very good. Then, yeah, syncytial. Then I'll ask you, okay, so inside the muscle cell or a muscle fiber, what do you notice? Sir, inside the muscle cell, we notice many small than fibers. Sir, already we have used the term fiber for the muscle cell, and they are very minute than fibers. We can use them fibrils. Muscle fiber में fibrils, fibrils. That means inside the fiber, fibrils. Okay. I'll then say to you, take out one muscle fibril or myofibril. I'll ask you, examine. You will say, sir, on one myofibril, I'll find that the same sarcomere repeated one behind the other. What is repeated? You will say, sir, sarcomere. Sarcomere is the unit of skeletal muscle contraction. We can understand the contraction by understanding the contraction in a sarcomere. Okay. Then, this myofibrils, of what they are made up of? And then you will say, sir, myofibrils are made up of filaments. Okay. What are they? Sir, they are nothing but they are the proteins. They are molecular. So the thin filament is made up of actin protein and the thick filament made up of myosin protein. Okay? If you have understood this much, you can tell me in any place you have got any issue, tell me. Believe me, you can testify me. You can ask anything to me 10 times. Even for once I get irritated, you can say anything to me. I will never get irritated even if you ask me, huh? If you say that, sir, teach the topic again. No, it's not a good thing. You may ask a particular doubt which makes me understand that you are trying to understand, but you are finding genuine problem. You will say, sir, I understood this like this. So after this, what should I should think? How to think in this question? How to think, sir? Just tell me behind what should I learn it? Any trick that you can tell us like that. This is the taking help of a teacher as a guide. Okay. But everything again, then we become lenient that he can repeat everything again. We become lenient. Moreover, we have a syllabus to complete. Okay. Done. Dear children, so skeletal muscles are syncytial or multinucleate. Syncytial or multinucleate. No other cell, neither smooth muscle or cardiac muscle are syncytial. Once again, the smooth muscles, these cells are not in bundle. These cells are not in fascicles. These cells are spindle shaped. This shape is called fusiform, spindle shaped. This shape is called fusiform. But then there is a single nucleus here. A cardiac muscle fiber is also cylindrical, long, elongated. But there are branchings. These branches are interconnected. These branches are not present in skeletal muscles. Okay. So what is common with the skeletal muscles? Number one, what is common? Cylindrical nature. Number two, striations, lines. These striation. This is dark, light. Here also, this small one, dark, baju, light, dark, light. It's common, cylindrical nature common, but nucleus, single nucleus, and that one is syncytial. But this one is branched. No other muscle is a branched muscle. Dear children, so you should know the points. Among these three, which one is resistant to fatigue? Come on. Which one is resistant to fatigue? Cardiac muscles are resistant to fatigue. Which one is auto-excitable? Number one, cardiac muscle. Number two, all three of them. Which one is auto-excitable? Cardiac muscles. Good. What happened? Keep it here. Keep it. Okay, and which one is auto-excitable? Number one, muscle, and number two, neuron. Which one is okay? No, don't say. Which one is auto-excitable? A neuron or a neuroglial cell? Which one is auto-excitable? This question has come in the yesterday's test in case of the seniors, outgoing seniors. And this is a wrong question because auto-excitable term is only used for skeletal. Other muscles are excitable, but no, auto-excitable is a different thing. Excitable is a different thing. Okay, dear children, what else you can know here? That autonomic nervous system innervates smooth muscles. Autonomic nervous system innervates smooth muscles. Somatic nervous system. Somatic nervous system innervate skeletal muscles. As such, cardiac muscles are not innervated by any nerves. Then how do they contract? They contract because they are auto-excitable. They can generate their own current. They can generate their own action potential without any external stimulus. Are neurons totally not required for the heart? No, they are not required, but they can influence. Neurons of the autonomic nervous system can influence. They can influence the heart contraction. That's enough, guys. And let me now take you to the remaining part of the myology. In myology, that much is required. Okay, yes, very important thing. Cell junctions hold them together and they are bundled together in a connective tissue sheath. Cell junctions hold them together and all the fibers are bundled together in a connective tissue sheath. So there can be fascia, but there is no fascicle. The wall of internal organs such as the blood vessel, stomach and intestine contains this type of muscle tissue. Smooth muscles are involuntary as their functioning cannot be directly controlled. We usually are not able to make it contract merely by thinking about it as we can do with skeletal muscles. If we want to contract our stomach, we are not. Neither we can contract our heart, nor any blood vessel. Moreover, we don't have a sense also. In the brain, we don't have a sense of any blood vessel. But we can certainly contract the cheek muscle, the neck muscle, the arm muscle. We can move the arm, okay? Cell junctions fuse the plasma membrane of cardiac muscle cells and make them stick together. Remember that cardiac muscle tissue is a contractile tissue present only in the heart. Smooth muscle is also contractile and skeletal muscle is also contractile, but it is contractile present only in the heart. Cell junctions fuse the plasma membrane of cardiac muscle cells and make them stick together. Communication junctions or intercalated discs at some fusion points allow the cell to contract as a unit. That is, when one cell receives a signal to contract, its neighbors are also stimulated to contract. Please understand, guys, there are junctions which make the adjacent cell fuse together. Cell junctions are there which make the adjacent cells fuse together. For example, if this is a cardiac muscle cell, okay, and this is another muscle cell, another cardiac muscle near, and you will find that the junctional tissues are there which can fuse the membrane, and there are intercalated discs can be seen. Intercalated discs. So here there is one disc like that, multiple discs at the fusion points. At these fusion points, there are some junctions. At these fusion points, there are some communication junctions. You know that what these communication junctions are called? The communication junctions are called the gap junctions. If those who can see the board clearly, they can see that I'm showing the gaps. These are the gap junctions. Gap junctions or communication junctions. And this is called intercalated discs. Fusion of some points. Gap junctions are there. And gap junctions allow the rapid transfer of ions, small molecules, and some large molecules. So here, there is a rapid transfer of ions. Through the gap junctions, there is a rapid transfer of ions. What is the advantage of that? And the advantage is very important. You know that action potential is flowing. Action potential is flowing. When the action potential arrive at the junction, it is not damped. It can move very fast. It can cross without any reduction in the speed. The action potential can run very fast because of the gap junctions. The action potential can move very fast, and therefore there is a quick and uniform distribution of action potential, and therefore both the atria can contract like a unit. So both of them, there are two atria, they contract like a unit. Contract like a unit. Two atria contract like a unit. Two ventricles, they also contract like a unit. Two ventricles contract like a unit. This is a functional syncytium, as if functionally they are together. You understand, beta? Do you understand the term functional syncytium? When I say they are functionally syncytial, they are functionally together, functionally fused. Skeletal muscles are, they are structurally syncytial. Skeletal muscles. Why we call them syncytial? Because they have got multiple nuclei. But this is a functional syncytium. Syncytium means as if the cells are fused together. Do you know that why the word syncytial is used for multinucleate conditions? Anyone? Just any idea, so that I can just say verbally without going onto the board why the multinucleate condition is called syncytial in animal cell? Nucleus are fused. Nucleus fused or cells are fused, beta? Cells are fused together. Syn matlab together or fused. Better tell me, how many cells you can see here? How many cells you are seeing here? Tell me. How many cells you see here? 4. Total 4. If the cells start fusing, now we have 3. We have 2. We have 1. But this one cell is a long elongated cell with multiple nuclei. Actually, this is formed by fusion of the cells. Fusion of cells called syncytial. Fusion of cells called syncytial. Last question. Which muscle can be called functionally syncytial? Which muscle, cardiac muscle, skeletal or smooth, can be called functionally syncytial? Functionally syncytial. Which muscle can be called functionally syncytial? Yes, Priyanka gave the correct answer. Shamit gave the correct answer. Surya 1368, beta 1368. Answer is not correct. My answer is cardiac muscles are functionally syncytial. However, structural syncytial. Which muscle is called structural syncytial? Yes, Surya 1368. 1368, now your answer is correct. But you are not giving a different answer. Yes, Priyanka, Shamit, your answer is correct. Gayatri, your answer is correct. And the answer is yes. Surya, answer is correct. skeletal muscles. So skeletal are very good. Skeletal are function structurally, as you can see, structure. But otherwise, the cardiac muscles are functionally. And what renders the cardiac muscle fibers syncytial? What renders the cardiac muscle fibers syncytial? What renders the cardiac muscle fibers syncytial? What makes? My question is, who is making? Why they become syncytial? Yes, Shamit, your answer is good. Yes, the correct answer is gap junctions. Very good. However, this is just for our confidence and grip on the topic, so that the grip means any type of question we can do it correctly. We know the reason, and we know the purpose of calling them syncytial. We know that, and why this is given contract like a unit. In which one we can say cardiac muscles, they contract like a unit. You see here, communication junctions, intercalary disc at some fusion points, not everywhere, at some fusion points, allow the cells to contract as a unit. That is, when one cell receives a signal to contract, its neighboring cells also stimulate it to contract. You know that in one cardiac cycle, both the atria contract like a unit in one cardiac cycle, then both the ventricles contract like a unit. Neural tissue. I think neural tissue is not only this much is given, but a neural tissue, let me just explain anything special in the neural tissue, then the class will be over. Neural tissue exerts the greatest control over the body's responsiveness to changing condition. Which of the following animal tissues control over the body's responsiveness? Greatest control over the body's responsiveness to changing conditions. Neural tissue. Neurons, the unit of neural system, are excitable cells. And which one is excitable? Neurons and muscles, they are excitable. The neuroglial cell, which constitute the rest of the neural system, protect and support neurons. The glial cells are non-excitable, beta. The glial cells are non-excitable. So they are not the excitable cells, glial cells. The glial cells are non-excitable. This one. They are not ectodermal even. They are non-excitable. They are not ectodermal. They constitute more than half of the volume of the nervous tissue. They constitute more than half of the volume of the nervous tissue. When a neuron is suitably stimulated, an electrical disturbance is generated which swiftly travel along the plasma membrane, Arrival of the disturbance at the neuron's ending or output zone. Neuron's ending is the output zone, dendrites are the input zone. Neurons endings are the output zone, dendrites are the input zone. And axon hillock is which zone? Answer my last question of today's class. My question is axon hillock. Come on. Axon hillock. Axon hillock. Which zone? Which zone? Dendrites. Come on. Dendrites. Dendrites. Which zone? Which zone? Okay. Then axon. Axon terminals. Axon terminals. These are the output zone. Now, I'm giving the complete name for them. They are the output zone or efferent zone. Come on, for these two. Axon hillock, just tell me the first few words, just acronym. Axon hillock, come on, tell me axon hillock, beta. Axon hillock. Axon hillock, trigger zone. Trigger. Axon hillock, trigger zone. Axon hillock, trigger zone. Dendrites, input. Dendrites, input. Axon terminal, output. Axon terminal, output. Axon hillock, you know axon hillock? Axon hillock is the beginning of the axon. the beginning of the axon is called axon hillock. In neuron, है ना? This is the axon hillock, this one. This is axon hillock, this one. Dear children, that's all about the class. This is axon hillock. From here, action potential continue. Before that, no action potential. Action potentials are only after this. Now, the second part of the chapter is animal structural organization and structure. On the next turn, we'll try to do maximum important part of the cockroach. Goodbye. God bless. My number I gave my Sir Ed. You can send the WhatsApp to me. That I will do. You just note down my number 988-717-333. This is 3 by 3. 3335. Your physics class has to start. Bye bye. Take care. God bless.